Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
What's up, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. It is I, Colton Robertson, and today I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. Today, park the car. We're heading to Boston. It's 1997, and we're covering Good Will Hunting. I never really engaged with this movie prior to the watch I did for this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd seen it like a long time ago, at a point in my life where there's no way it resonated with me then the way it resonates with me now. I really liked this movie, dude. This was a strong addition to our 52-year journey through film.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think I've seen this movie maybe like one or twice as I like walked past. My dad was watching it maybe, and I sat down and maybe came in the middle of it. So I've never really given this like a good watch. I would call this my first true watch of this movie.
Oh, yeah, me too. And,
glad that it came at this point in my life. I could appreciate it so much more.
Oh, my God. I can't imagine a better time for us to have watched this in our life. Around this age, 21, 22, you know, it's perfect. You know, this is one that my mom has regarded as like one of her favorite movies of all time for like a really long time. And it's one I've never engaged with. And, I came upstairs after I finished it, and I was like, just watched Good Will Hunting for the first time. She was like, that was your first time watching Good Will Hunting?
Uh-huh.
She was like, did you like it? And I was like, I loved it. I cried twice. Like, cried too. Like, I was like, I'm going to wake up Emily from crying right now.
These were some good cries.
Oh, it was such a good movie. Let me lay the groundwork real quick, though. Release date, January 9th, 1998, which means it was 2 years and a day before I was born, interestingly enough. Written by both Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, which is pretty awesome.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
wow.
that made this movie like, oh shit, they wrote this and we're just like, we're super young. Not, wow. I mean, pretty established, but not super established. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they were decently big, but to have written such a great fucking movie,
it kind of changes
crazy.
It for me a little bit. Like, that makes it even better. Like,
makes it more personal, you know. And then directed by Gus Van Sant. Yeah, I was like, wow, I am astonished by the fact that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wrote this movie, and they won an Oscar for it. They won Best Writing Screenplay, written directly for the screen. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, which is pretty cool. And then Robin Williams won Best Actor in a Supporting Role. It was also nominated for Best Picture, Best Actor in a Leading Role for Matt Damon, Best Actress in a Supporting Role, Minnie Driver, Best Director, Best Film Editing, Best Music, Best Music Original Dramatic Score. Yeah, like that's
okay.
And Danny Elfman did the score for this, and you know you might be familiar with Danny Elfman's work via Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man theme.
There you go. Wow, man, this movie's quite stacked.
It's got. I mean, and then you got Stellan Skarsgård in a supporting role here, who I know you're familiar with at least via Eric Selvig in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, did you watch Chernobyl a couple years back?
Yes. Oh, what an awesome miniseries! Oh,
fantastic! And he was the main guy in that.
That's sick.
Yeah. So there's a lot of through line here with a lot of stuff you've watched in the past, and like it's just covered. Like I'm watching this, and I'm like, Chucky grows on to be fucking Batman. That's fucking crazy.
Will goes on to be was it? Jason Bourne. I always get Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg confused for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just they look a little
Mark
similar.
Wahlberg. You know, they both got the fucking accent.
Yeah, but I always like Jason Bourne for some reason. I always think is Mark Wahlberg, and then I picture Mark Wahlberg doing Jason Bourne things,
And you're like, no,
nah,
cannot
that's
be him.
no. So, but anyway, weird side note there, but
No, yeah, and I mean Matt Damon also fake Thor, actor Thor.
true.
In the MCU.
Ooh, okay.
We got a lot of stuff. The Martian, you know, Interstellar. He's the one who betrayed. Like, there's just so many iconic and great roles you've seen these characters in, and I mean, obviously Robin Williams. We love Robin Williams here. You know, we saw him. He just nails that role.
The dad that everyone wants. Like, I feel like that's just the way to sum it up. It's just like, can you just adopt me, please? Like, I would learn so much from you in just a couple days.
Dude,
I don't know.
Robin Williams was so good at being the good guy. Like, you want to see him happy. You know he's going to make others happy. You can see him actively making other people happier in his roles, you know, in Dead Poet Society and this. Like, and those are the two that, you know, you automatically go to on our 52-year journey through film, you know, like there's like so many differences between those characters, you know, like they are not the same at all, you know, like I'd say Dead Poet Society, Robin Williams is much genuinely happier and is like, you know, and this guy is down and out for sure. But nevertheless, he brought the same sort of energy to the character that was like, God, you know, this is inspiring, you know, and like I love Robin Williams for that, you know, and having watched these movies so recently, you know, he's climbing up like my favorite actors of all time, you know.
Oh yeah, I've sadly only known him mainly from like Flubber and like RV. I think that's what, like those were like the only kind of two Robin Williams movies that I watched.
This is Doubtfire. I remember that.
True. But I've never gotten like his more serious roles or roles that where he was, I don't know, just
being a dramatic actor.
I feel like he's just perfected these roles. Like, I don't know. I'm so glad that I've gotten this side of Robin Williams now. And oh man, Ace.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
I think it is a very good like comparison to Dead Poets, like similar but not like, I don't know. It's in the same vein, but
well, and that's what's interesting too about these late '80s and into the '90s dramas we've watched. Like I hold them all to not necessarily the same standard, but when I thought about them in my mind prior to this project, they all went together. You know, like Good Will Hunting, Dead Poet Society, The Shawshank Redemption, like these sorts of movies that just have these '90s drama feel. Like, you know, this is a '90s movie, even though Poets is, you know, '89. But nevertheless, it's like they've all got this essence to them that, like, you know, I don't think of those movies and think back to Taxi Driver. I don't think of those movies and think back to Alien. You know, like that's
true. Yeah, there's I feel like this movie will be joining some very, very great company in the rating system whenever we get there. And I feel like whenever this is all said and done, like those 4 9s, those 4 8s, like those are just the required viewing, the films, I don't know, but this is definitely in the same category as these movies, in my opinion.
Oh, it was fucking fantastic. I mean, let's talk some characters. You know, let's start with, you know, the man of the hour, Will Hunting. You know, obviously this movie's become sort of legend. You know, like I've heard of Good Will Hunting a lot. You know, pretty iconic movie, and the character here, what his actions, being the janitor who is actually the super genius who can figure these things out all on his own. Like we were familiar with this aspect of the character going into the movie, for sure. And it was still, nevertheless, really cool to see on screen. You know, I knew he was going to be a genius. I knew all this, but you know, that scene where he's sitting down with Minnie Driver's character, and she's like, "How do you do this? Like, explain it to me." You know, and he's like, "Well, you know, you play the piano, right?" And, he goes through all that, and he's like, I look at numbers, and I just get it. I can't paint you a picture. I can't do this. I can't do this, but I can do that. And
it just clicks.
It just clicks, and I really loved that description of what he was doing. It just came naturally to him.
He doesn't feel like a genius to him, or like to himself. It's just that is what he knows. And I don't know. I think that's kind of like a valuable lesson that I've been learning is like, we call people smart or whatever in school because you can do well at math or you can do well in physics, whatever. But like really everyone's just good at their own thing.
Exactly.
Everyone has their own thing that they're passionate about and that clicks for them. And
there are certainly things that may become more profitable or more useful, but
true. But I don't know. I think like this kind of framed intelligence in a different way for me. Like I don't know. A lot of things kind of changed. Like my just views on like
just
I don't know,
passions and drives and motivations. Like with Robin Williams sitting him down and being like, "You remember Game 6? Fisk hits it over the wall. It's going, it's gone. He's pushing people out of the way. Yeah, I would have loved him in there." Like
you had tickets for the game and you weren't there.
I just told my friends I had to see about a girl.
Oh, and man,
you had to see about a girl. What kind of friends are they? Like
the comeback of that line, man. Woo.
Oh, that's the second time. That was the second cry where I was like, oh yeah.
I knew exactly what it was going to say. I knew exactly what it was going to say.
You knew what was coming. The fact, like, and that was what was so great about this. Like, they spend so much time about his potential as a brain. Figure like how he could change the world and that. And, Robin Williams is always arguing from that other side. Like it's not all about that. Like he has time. He's a young dude. He can maybe he'll get to that, but he doesn't need to worry about it. Like it's clearly got a handle on things, and he really showed him what his priorities should be. And he had to go see about a girl. And I love taking that as like the moral of the story at the end is like it's like prioritize what you love. And it's like if that's the field you want to go into, hey, go for it. If it means chasing a girl to Stanford, go ahead and do that. I think that was a really good way to end this movie. And I was like, I didn't know where it was going to end. I wasn't sure if it was.
I was really scared, whenever he was like, he blew her off and he was like, yeah, I don't love you. Like, yeah. And I was like, oh man, this is not where I thought this was going to go. Like, no, I
thought maybe they'd go like hardcore sad with like a missed potential, not only missed potential, but lost the girl, didn't do, and like, and just kept going about his days, but I'm glad obviously that he does go chase after the girl. It's like, that's all the potential he needed.
The scenes between Robin Williams and like in Lambo, whenever they just start arguing, like when they have like I don't know, probably 3 or 4 like heated arguments. I'd say like throughout the movie, but
electric performances though.
Oh, and whenever like I think they're in his office and Rob, he's just like have you ever asked him what he wants to do? Like you're so focused on training him and using him for your own personal gain in the world and everything like that. But have you asked him what he wants to do? Like it's his life, not yours. And like, yes, sure. If he's an Einstein, he could change the world, impact the world, blah, 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 whatever. Like, but I don't know. It's just, their arguments together were just like,
they were perfect. They were the exact dissonance that pretty much anyone with potential will undergo, at least mentally in their own head at some point, and maybe others. Like, you need to be productive about this. You need to do this because it's objectively what would bring the most help to either me personally or more people around. And this doesn't prioritize the looking out for yourself before others, but it prioritizes looking out for what you love. And it's all about passion, which I think is really important. It's not telling you necessarily what's right and what's wrong. It's telling you to follow what excites you. And I think that's dope.
I think another one of their important arguments is when they're in the bar. And, he's like, have you heard of Einstein? Yeah, sure. And you heard of these other scientists, blah, blah, blah. No, you haven't heard of them because.
Have you heard of Gerald Lambeau?
Who's that? Hey, bartender, who's this guy? Oh, that's the Unabomber. Oh, it clicked for me there. Like, I was never on Lambeau's side really for any side.
Neither was I.
But then like whenever he said that, I'm like, okay, this really is important here. Like what they're doing. Like you can't just force someone into something and could very well potentially, like, I don't know, it was a possibility that I didn't even think of, I guess, before it was mentioned. And I don't know, that's kind of, I don't know, his therapy sessions, like, and everything were just I don't know, this movie just made me realize and think of just so many things. Like, I usually say that a movie was so captivating that I was never taken out of the movie. But I was like, the only times I was taken out of the movie was whenever I was just thinking of my own life and reflecting on things. And like the point of the movie, I would, assume.
Yeah, there's definitely a certain degree of it that, especially at our age, that becomes even more potent. Like at about the age that these characters are at, Chucky, Will, Skylar, all these characters are rough. I mean, give or take a few years, but so it's just all the more potent for us. Like, it's like, oh damn, like I maybe not obviously to the same extent. I'm not some mega genius who can just look at everything and remember everything, but
true. Yeah, that's I can't go in an MIT chalkboard and solve a theorem that's been unsolved for years. Yeah, it's not
exactly my strength. But nevertheless, I think it's pretty universal to question what it is you want to do, and to question or to not even be questioning, but not even really know. Like, just kind of be like, shit, man, I was just gonna keep boogieing on down the road I'm doing, And I think it's really, like, it's just a really, really powerful story. And all the more flooring that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck wrote it. Like, it's like, wow, they nailed that shit.
This was coming from the heart. Like, this, I don't know, this just felt like a real movie. And I'm just so glad that I've finally seen it, and I don't know, just had the chance to take a cry like that.
Oh man,
like I was,
it's not your fault. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's not your fault. Yeah, all right. And then like Morty just keeps breaking further and further until they embrace, and he's sobbing, like absolutely sobbing, bro. That fucked me up. And then the second time I watched it, Emily wanted to engage with it because she fell asleep about 15 minutes in the first time that I started it, and she was like, and she was talking, pretty much the whole time, and we get to that part, and she's still talking to me, and then she hears Matt Damon sobbing, and she's like, "Is he crying?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty much the emotional climax of the film."
Pretty much well, at this point, whenever I saw it, I was I just didn't know what to do with myself. It was very weird. I was laying in bed and I just started crying, and like I just kept going. I just kept going.
Like, fuck.
And I just kept like pacing around my room, just like kept watching the movie, and I'm like, man, like holy crap! Like I don't know, no movie has like
hit like, dude, that shit hit. I was like, oh my god, that was devastating and moving as fuck, and just like I don't think we've had a moment so far along our 52-year journey through film that exactly is the same as this, and in many capacities or in any capacity. And I think the only place we might have come close is Shawshank in terms of like but even then it's not even this quite. Like, it's
like there's the devastating moments, like Dead Poets, where that's a whole different cry. That's just like, oh my, like that's just devastating. But this
wasn't like, there was this combination of it being sad, but it wasn't just like, it's sad that Matt Damon had to feel all these things for so long and never let him out. But it's so nice that this is finally happening. And it's like, I'm so happy for this dude right now. Like, this is exactly what he needs to. And like, I like that was like the breakthrough, you know, like that there's like 25 minutes left in the movie at that point. And then they're like, the next time they meet, he's like, yep, I'm leaving. We'll see. We'll see what's up. And he's like, you know what? Thank you, Doc. And it's like, all right. So he figured his shit out. You know, I don't know that that's technically how therapy works, but good shit.
Does this violate the patient-doctor, whatever? He's like, only if you start grabbing my butt or whatever. Like,
only if you start grabbing my ass.
But the moment where, you know, like one of the, I don't know, most satisfying parts for me of this movie is when Ben Affleck, you know, and Will are out. They're out in the construction site, and he's like talking about his future, and he's like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to be doing this for the next 20 years, whatever." And he's like, "You better be lying right now. Like, you better be capping. Like, yeah, like you better not be here. Like, I know I'm going to be here, whatever. I've accepted that, but like, it's an insult to me if you stay here." And then you see him go up to the door.
Yeah,
no answer.
That was, and you know that point I'm tearing up. You know, like I'm like he's gonna go to the door and he's not gonna be there, bro. He's not gonna be at the door. And then and then it was like paralleled with Robin Williams finding the letter that said it. So it was just like, fuck.
Every other time he's gone up to the door, he comes out right away, grab the call. You know, it's like, boom. They made that a point.
Especially on like rewatch. That's how they kick off the movie, is him picking him up. Like that's like one of the first things you see. And it's like, that was just really powerful, you know, and that fucking monologue feels so familiar, and I cannot figure it out. Like, the whole, like, you know, and maybe it's not exactly the monologue. It's a similar idea at the very least, where it's like, your potential should carry you way beyond this. Like, if you're still doing this, that's an insult to me. The best 10 seconds of my day is when I don't think you're going to come out of that door, because I'm thinking maybe you've moved on, you know, like, I swear I've heard that somewhere, and I, for the life of me, cannot figure it out. And what's even worse is I feel like the thing immediately after referenced Good Will Hunting and was like, "You just go full Good Will Hunting on me," like, And I don't know if I'm making it up, but we'll see. But I'm gonna keep searching. I haven't figured it out in days.
It'll probably be like a month down the line, and so you'll just be doing something random, mundane, and then it'll just hit. You'll have a Will moment. You'll have your brain blast.
I'll head to the whiteboard and I'll start jotting it all out, and I'll be like, girls.
But I mean, taking it back, like, for parts of the movie that I kind of forget, like the part of the movie, you know, that we've been talking about, I feel like is just the most important. Obviously, the part that everyone's going to remember. But
yes,
like the start of the
last
movie,
20 minutes.
Like the very start of the movie, like whenever, let's see, they're going in like the diner and trying to pick up girls, whatever, and you have the MIT students, you know, trying to quote all these things, and then you got Will coming up and being like,
all right, guy,
page here. 92, whatever, you know, you gonna plagiarize anything else, or
just gonna come in here and regurgitate obscure passages, thinking nobody passing them off as your own, just to get some girls. What do you think? That's cool? There are two things you're gonna realize in life. First one, don't do that. Second one, you're going to realize you spent $150,000 on an education you could have spent $1.50 in public library late fees.
Can we I mean, if anyone were to get roasted, I mean, I don't know of a better man to roast anyone than Will Hunting. I mean, he lets you hear it, you know, whether you're a therapist, you know, because he doesn't want to be there, and he just decides to rip you a new one and get out of there as fast as possible.
Sky rockets in flight. Phew, afternoon delight.
And I didn't know where they were I knew Robin Williams was in this movie, but I didn't know that he was his he was.
No, right. Like, I got to like 30 minutes in this movie, and I'm like, I thought Robin Williams was in this movie. Where is this man?
And for all the therapists that he kept like blowing off and stuff, I'm like, man, where are they going with it? You know, like I understand he doesn't want to be there and stuff, but I'm like, is he just going to keep doing this the whole time? And
there came a point where I was like, is Robin Williams his parole officer? Like, is there something there? Like,
and then And then I like whenever Robin was introduced, I was like, like, ooh. And then like the way he gets Will to cooperate with him, like instead of just doing all the normal whatever, he has his own twist on it. And they have that one session where they don't speak a single word, and he's like, I can't let him win, like he has to
speak
talk
first.
first.
I can't talk first. He's like, what is this? Some competition from two kids from Southie? And he's like, pretty much. He's like, yeah, yep. Essentially. And I love, we've been talking about the parallels to Dead Poets and like the same similar feels in Robin Williams. Again, a professor. This time at a community college, not a private high school or preparatory school, but nevertheless, he did have a less energetic and passionate way about him at the beginning of this movie in that classroom, but he still held his students' attention, like they laughed at his jokes and stuff, they and so on and so forth. But truth is life. Very deep, Danny. All right.
And then near the very end again, I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but Lambeau and Robin, Lambeau walks in and he's like, hey, I have to say, like, I know, me too, and then they just go out, walk, like, well,
I thought, I'm not gonna lie to you, there was like a very, very early on in this movie, I was under the impression potentially until like, Robin Williams goes on about how he had his wife passed and stuff. I was under the impression that him and Lambeau might have had a romantic history. There was like this, whenever he came to his classroom, like knocked on his door and like the way they looked at each other, I was like, that was like, they had like, apparently their personal rivalry was like really strong. They talk about that thin line between love and hate. Like, I think that like I was picking up the wrong notes there when I should have picked up a, they despised each other back in the day.
Scrolling through, like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just such it was so weird seeing, like just Ben Affleck and Matt Damon this young. Like, right. I don't know, like, I guess I don't know. I'm just so used to seeing them just so much older. Right. And just like seeing this young and how well they performed, like at this age. And like, I don't know, like this, just every, like, I can't think of a performance in this movie that I didn't like.
Oh no, it was fantastic. And one of my favorite elements of it, I'm not gonna lie, is Minnie Driver as Skylar. She was awesome. I loved her, and I loved her connection with Will. I loved when she met Chucky and Morgan and the the friends, and told them the story about old Patty and Mary. Give us a kiss.
Yeah, she was I knew, obviously, I had no, the only thing I came into this movie knowing is that he was a janitor at MIT that could solve math equations. Like, that's literally it.
That was 100% of my knowledge as well.
And like seeing how their relationship started to form, like, you want to go get coffee. And he's like, what about some caramels, or whatever. And he's like, what
if you think about it, it's every bit as arbitrary as getting coffee.
And, just their moments that they had together, and, how she's doing some homework and he solves on a napkin in like 10 minutes or whatever. And she's like, no, like, I need to learn this, like, this is what I'm here for. Like, I can't just get the, or whatever. And, I don't know, they were just so cute together.
Dude, I loved them. Like, they're one of my favorite, couples across, or romantic pairings and romantic stories across our movies so far, like when I think back to what we've done, I don't know that I can truly pick out a romantic pairing that I enjoy more, like from a critical, like, oh yeah, that was well written, it's mostly what the story was about sort of thing. Like, I like Indiana Jones and Marion Ravenwood.
That's who I was thinking of, but it's,
like, that's not what the movie's about. Like,
not the same thing here. Yeah.
No, yeah, like, and I'm not fucking with Forrest Gump and Jenny. Obvious for obvious reasons there.
Yeah, the man. I mean, they really played him up like so well to make the like whenever he tells her he doesn't love her, and like like
Oh yeah.
like like he's just doing that to himself. Like he
Yes.
wants to go. Like it was just like so heartbreaking, like seeing that happen, and then like I'm like, wait, no, like this is not what's supposed to happen here. Like no, like this was the part of the movie that I'm starting to really love here. You know, I'm holding on to this and then I mean, obviously,
it's what I hate about romantic comedies, man. Every time I'm like, bro, there's 30 minutes left in this movie and nothing bad has happened. They're gonna fall apart for a little bit, and I know they'll get back together, but I don't like that they're gonna fall apart. You know, I had that same thing here, you know, and you know, she goes back to Stanford. He watches the plane fly away, and I genuinely thought in that moment, you know, like that's the end of that chapter. He fucked that up. He blew it there, you know, and he sabotaged himself. And you know, that's what made the ending all the more satisfying. As soon as he gets that car from his homies, which was also really cool. What a great moment that was, you know, and then he's heading to Robin Williams's place. He drops off a letter, and I was like, he going somewhere. He going somewhere.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going, man. Open that letter. Just give me the line. I know it's coming. You know, just make me cry. I know it's coming. Oh man,
bro.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh man, yeah. What a. I can't.
I looked through all the episodes we have scheduled and published, and I can confidently say this is my favorite romance across the movies so far.
Yeah, I was just about to say I can't think of any.
Fairly certain, you know. I can't. I genuinely can't. And I just tell, and like, you know, I'm looking at all these, and it's like it's generally not the point of a lot of these other movies.
Han and Leia could come close,
but you know they don't really act
in the
on
history
it.
That yeah, true. This is out of the movies we've covered, I think this is definitely
like Bender and Claire in The Breakfast Club.
We got some couples in there.
Yeah, but I mean, like
American Graffiti, I guess some couples, I guess.
Nothing hitting quite like Will and Skylar.
Lion King.
Ooh, Nala.
That's
kind of fire. That's kind of fire.
But how much can you really get connected between two animated animals versus you know, but no, this definitely takes the cake and
it certainly
best
does.
Couple so far, but man, yeah,
God, it was so good. It was so fucking when he breaks there and he puts his hands in his face and it's like, man,
he's like, you better not be fucking with me, you know. He's like, you better stop. He's like, I know what's about to come, and I've never felt this way before, and oh man, like
fuck, man, yeah, that shit was.
And how he told his whole life story from a painting, you know, like
that's it, isn't it? You married the wrong woman. And he's like, you better watch your mouth about that.
Yeah, you better.
And he pins him up against the wall by the throat. Like he was like, I swear to God, bro, don't fucking go there. And I love that interaction the next day on the park bench, you know, like that. You know, I thought about what you said to me the other day about my painting. Stayed up half the night thinking about it, and something occurred to me. Fell into a deep, peaceful sleep and haven't thought about you since. You're just a kid. You don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about. And I love, you know, like, if I asked you what the Sistine Chapel smelled like, you know, like you could tell me everything about Michelangelo and everything, but you could not tell me what it's like being there. Do you think I would know what your life as an orphan was like because I read Oliver Twist? Like what a great like way to humble this kid, you know, because that's what he needed, you know. He hadn't been wrong in the movie up to that point. He'd only been right.
He's always been, that's his thing. He's always right. He knows. And like even
and he just sat there taking it, like his face, like he was just like he was like, fuck. Like I definitely missed on that one, you know. And when he starts talking about how his wife died of cancer and stuff, how the term visiting hours doesn't apply to you, like I was like, God damn, he's been through it, bro. What a brutal take.
And I mean, even, you know, whenever he shows math to Lambeau, or every time, and he has like this packet or whatever, and Lambeau's like, "Are you sure this is right?" And he's like, I know this is like the easiest shit to me. Like this, I know it's right. And then he
said, "I know it's right. You're wrong. Yeah. I'm gonna go."
And he burns it. He's like, "I don't care." Like he's just like, I don't care. This is like the easiest shit to me. Like I do this on a on a napkin or whatever. Like whenever I'm just having coffee, whatever. But then
and that him being like, "Some days I wish I never met you." So I wouldn't have to know that you exist.
Damn. Oh, and the fact that Robin Williams, it was like one line that he was the smarter one out of the two, or whatever, but Lambeau went on to be a professor at MIT, so he thinks he's more successful and he's more accomplished, blah blah blah.
And Lambeau got caught up in that a lot, him being like, "You're mad at you hold that against me. You resent me for this." And he's like, "Dude, I couldn't give less of a fuck about that. I'm trying to tell you that, and you're not listening to me."
He calls him an arrogant asshole or an arrogant fuck, like so,
arrogant
like
prick.
Yeah. And it was just, I don't know. Their arguments were always so satisfying.
Dude, they were so good on screen together. They really knocked that out of the fucking park. I'm trying to find one in the IMDb quotes just because, like, I need to see the transcript because it was pretty fantastic.
Yeah,
it was just so well done. You know what? You can shove your medal up your fucking ass because I don't give a shit about your medal because I knew who you were before you were a mathematical god, when you were pimple faced and homesick and didn't know which side of the bed to piss on. Yeah, you were smarter than me, and you're smarter than me now, so don't blame me for how your life turned out. It's not my fault. I don't blame you! It's not about you, you mathematical dick!
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. Robin Williams has a way of doing it, He changed our rating system with Dead Poets. And I feel like if this movie came for... I don't know. I guess that's kind of... a different kind of movie, different aspect, but he just every time he comes up, man, I'm not disappointed. I think, do we have any more? I don't know. Is there any more Robin Williams coming up? I don't think so. Not that I can think of the top of my head, but
top of my head. Yeah,
I'm gonna need to.
Think you will.
In my own time, I need to do some more deeper dives on.
I actually
on
just took another viewing of Night at the Museum.
He's
Teddy Roosevelt.
Oh yeah, Teddy.
Which is pretty fucking funny, but I can't remember any off the top of my head that we've got coming up here. But yeah, and that 2001 one, I know we've got like a bunch there already. I also watched The Lord of the Rings yesterday for the first time. Might be worth it. Might be worth the discussion on the 2001 one.
It's pretty big. Yeah,
it's pretty fucking awesome. But no, moving on. I don't know that there's any more Robin Williams on our list. However, we still time to evolve that if need be, if we find something where it might fit. But yeah, I think I might be ready for the rating section of this here Good Will Hunting.
I think I'm ready too. I feel the easiest one in my opinion is the enjoyment. It's how well we connected with this movie, how we enjoyed it. Even though I bawled my eyes out, this is a 5 out of 5. There's not many movies that have done this for me. If I could give it any higher than a 5, I would in this category. So
yeah, as far as that emotional resonance is concerned, like we look at our most previous 5s, Shawshank, Forrest Gump, like
Malcolm X,
Malcolm X,
Dead Poets.
Yeah, these make sense. Like that's what at the beginning of the episode. What did I say? I held Shawshank, Dead Poets, Goodwill, all in this sort of same regard, and I stand by that now with giving it a 5 out of 5 there in the enjoyment. It's so emotionally resonant. Like if you can like just make me feel that, it's gonna be a 5. you know, and even if it wasn't so strong throughout the movie, you know, there is a point in the middle of this movie where I'd say it didn't lose me at all, but it was certainly most boring directly in the middle compared to the beginning and the end, I'd say. And nevertheless, you know, I'm still in it. I'm still digging it, and that ending is as strong as it gets. And you know, the only movie I can think of what ending leaves me more satisfied of late is Shawshank.
Yeah.
And that's for totally other reasons, you know. But
not many movie endings that do it like this.
We're gonna.
This is a very memorable ending of a movie. I don't. Maybe that could be an interesting award. Maybe in like the decades or just like that's kind of interesting. How the movie ends. I mean, that's what the movie's all about. You know, whatever movie you're watching, the end is most likely
critically
one of the most important. But this one, I will remember this movie for a long, long time, and I will definitely be revisiting it many
very, 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 very long time to be sure. But with that, onto the genre. Now there's nothing more than drama here. That's all it is. I'd say, you know, it got that romance element to it, but I'd say it's not derived simply on romance. There's a lot going on in this movie. And, you know, I feel pretty good about it. I'd say the drama elements were good. You know, I think, you know, we talked so much about how Lambeau and Sean, Robin Williams' character, had so many fantastic back and forths.
Man, thank you for finally saying that. I'm terrible with characters' names.
Well, and his name, I don't even know that it's said like maybe once in this movie. Like they don't throw it out a lot. But I'm feeling pretty high on it. You know, the interactions between Chucky and Will are pretty strong, and obviously the romance element might be the strongest part of the movie for me. I really, really loved that. Or the way it resolves anyway. Maybe not so much the romance itself, but the way it comes together at the end. You know, I feel pretty similar to it as I did at Trainspotting about a week ago. I'd say it's really high rating in its genre, but like it's hard to be genre defining in a drama setting. But a 4.75 probably feels about right. I don't think
a 5 is too high. You know, I love this movie, and I wish I could just give it 5s across the board for everything. But when I step back and think about, you know, what like truly this movie is, like the main category of this movie is the enjoyment, is the emotional resonance, and that's what to take away from this. And I guess, you know, as a film, you know, it's going to be interesting where that lies, because it's not really a huge strength of this one either. It's just filming these characters and their interactions. Nothing truly beautiful. You know, no wallpaper moments that really happen or anything.
But it is exquisitely well written.
Yes,
it's really well acted. The score was fantastic.
True.
You know, I'm still feeling pretty high on this movie. You know, I don't go Shawshank levels, obviously. I don't think I even go Trainspotting levels like we did last week as far as critical appeal is concerned. But I don't think I'd go lower than Forrest Gump. You know, I think 4.8 is sitting pretty for me.
Okay, that would average it out to a 4.85, and that would place it below Jurassic Park, but above Godfather Part 2, Malcolm X, and Lion King.
That's the first one that's felt truly right in a while.
And with no adjustments there at all needed, I think that's pretty. That's
about spot on as it gets for me.
And as a film, it's above My Neighbor Totoro, or it's tied with My Neighbor Totoro, Dead Poets, and Forrest Gump.
Yeah, it belongs amongst that group, I'd say.
Definitely. This one works. A 4.85. I mean, you know, all these movies are going to be great, and we're going to be getting into, you know, a lot of nitty gritty. There's going to be a lot of 4.8s, a lot of 4.9s, a lot of 4.7s bound to be But even with the little itty bitty jumps that we have in between these movies, I think I don't know, it slots right in perfectly.
I think so too. And like obviously our overall rating, it's we factor in our enjoyment of it. It's not purely objective. It's entirely subjective. We base it off of how much we enjoyed it, and I think it slots perfectly between Jurassic Park and Godfather 2. Like that makes so much sense to me on paper, and yeah, I think we've done a good job here.
This came naturally. The numbers just come naturally here. Maybe this is our goodwill moment. All of these numbers, all the data we'll have at the end of this, these I don't know, things just fall into place well here.
To be sure.
But man, yeah, I guess that was easier than I thought. Don't like seeing where that went. Because now we're kind of comparing between other movies, and we're taking that into account, and I think that's fair. To take into account all these other movies, but
especially ever since we hit the halfway point and made our adjustments, we were like, all right, maybe recency bias did factor in on a few of these. What do we feel like we might have done right? What do we feel like we might have done wrong? And I feel like we're sitting prettier than we ever have at this very moment.
Oh yeah, this one I don't think there's any adjustment needed. I think we're right there with this one. So
baller. So a 4.85 out of 5. What a fucking strong one, and man, that's just satisfying. Couldn't be happier with that. But with that, we conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. 'Twas I, Colton Robertson, and I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It is always a pleasure.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. And as we have said previously, this week was 1997. We covered Good Will Hunting, and it was a great joy. But next week we're on to 1998, and I'm not gonna lie to you, buddy. This is up there for me as far as favorite movies of all time. 1998's The Truman Show will be viewed and will be discussed and will be thoroughly enjoyed.
I cannot wait. This has been one I've been itching to get to. So
I've had to hold off a lot amidst this Good Will Hunting conversation, just because I've been like, there are these things that I want to say that, Truman Show's another one that slots in alongside those, Good Will Hunting, Shawshank Dead Poets sort of feel for me. Man, I'm very excited to talk about it. But yes, if you would, head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you'll find over 24 hours of exclusive content. All that money goes back into making sure I can put this podcast on. It costs money, and I don't make any unless you're paying for it there. A while back, we did, we discussed the deleted scene from the Batman featuring the Joker. We discussed, maybe the Oscars. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, and then if you would, follow on Twitter @PennyBloomPod. Follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And I had to see about a girl.